Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Bob here. Welcome to like a preview of Starfield, which is a game that I've been waiting for a long time. Really hyped about it. I will point out before I start the video that I'm a massive Bethesda fan. I know some people have just had enough of them, particularly after Fallout 76. But I loved Fallout 76. What can I say? The reason that I generally enjoy games, I'm a big mechanics fan, particularly strategic combat in something like Baldur's Gate, for example, or whatever it may be. But for this type of game, what I'm really looking for is immersion. I'm looking to be immersed in the world. And Fallout 76 was amazing at that. The world was amazing. I loved running around exploring and whatever it may be. I know loads of people had issues with it, including technical issues, but I love the game. So I thought I would just let you know that first. I'm not biased towards Bethesda, but I've always loved their games. And I even loved Fallout 76. And I still play it from time to time now. So let's get on to Starfield. So the main theme of this video is that I've had to lower my expectations over the last couple of months, I would say. When the game was first announced, probably like most of you, I was really overly hyped. And I was expecting everything to be next gen. And the information that's came out recently is suggesting to us that most of the systems are probably not really going to be next gen. I think what we're looking at here is a really immersive kind of story-driven game, which is what I'm looking for. That's fine. But there are some systems that I kind of, maybe it's my own fault, I kind of assume they would just be I assume they would be like other games in the genre, but it turns out that they're probably not, or they're definitely not. The two most disappointing ones, I think, to start off with, are basically like space traversal and planetary traversal. I think we've got to a point now where I kind of feel that we need to be expecting something like what Star Citizen is doing. Now, I know that Star Citizen, their whole shtick, all of their money has been spent on, lots of money, by the way, and lots of time has been spent on, perfecting their space exploration, going down to the planet, the planetary atmosphere, the immersion, being able to just go down to any planet in the game and land where you want and explore. And I must confess, that's what I was expecting from Starfield. Maybe that's my fault. I'm not sure. They never actually said that that's what you're going to be able to do. But when you're looking at a game, and there are some scenes that they show that look very much like Star Citizen, I guess that's what you expect. So how they're doing it is each planet is split up into tiles. So it's like a tile-based system. The most disappointing thing about this is that it's got loading screens. Now, I'm not sure if that's an issue, a tech issue with the Xbox. I've got no idea. But that is incredibly disappointing. As a PC player, I don't want to be limited by console technology. But unfortunately, quite often we are because, most games are developed with consoles in mind. And we get the scraps. Unless you've got a game very rarely that is designed with the PC in mind. That's what we're left with. And that was disappointing, the fact that there are loading screens. What I'm really hoping, it's going to be immersion breaking. I play these games for immersion. If I'm running across a planet and suddenly there's a loading screen, that's going to break my immersion. It is a big issue. Even as a big fan of Bethesda and their games, this for me it's a big issue. What's going to be more of an issue is they kind of talked about each tile being its own thing, but it needs to be seamless. If I'm running up to the edge of a tile, and so for example in front of me I can see a forest, and I hit the tile edge and it loads the next tile. If that forest is then gone, that's terrible. It needs to be seamless. If there's a mountain in the distance and I'm running towards it and I hit a tile edge and it loads into the next tile, that same mountain needs to be there. Otherwise, it's just going to completely break immersion. What's going to be even worse is if you're running through a tile and you load into the next one and the biome completely changes. That's going to be crazy. Going from sunny to raining or sunny to snow is going to be a bit of a shocker. And that did come across as a bit of surprising to me. And I know that, again, maybe it's my expectations of playing other games, but there are other games that probably have had less money spent on them, like No Man's Sky, for example, that can do that. So I don't know why they chose this tile system. They seem pretty proud of the technology when they were talking about it, but I'm going to I don't know, maybe someone can correct me, but I'm going to assume it's because of console technology limitations. That was the first thing. The second thing is that it doesn't seem as though you can fly down manually to the planet and then fly around the planet and land where you want and explore doing it that way. From what I'm not sure, again, maybe someone can correct me, but it seems as though each tile has a landing spot and you have to land and get out. Again, that is incredibly disappointing. I don't know. I don't quite know. You know, as I said before, maybe it was my expectations, but I just feel that we should be beyond this sort of thing now. You know, other games are doing it. I'm not quite sure why Starfield wasn't able to do it, but that is also quite disappointing. We're seeing some footage here of what may be landing spots, and you choose your landing spot and it loads in and the ship manually lands for you. Maybe I'm wrong here. I really hope I'm wrong. But it doesn't appear as though you can fly down through the atmosphere manually down to the planet and then fly across the planet's surface and land where you want. It looks as though each tile has got its designated designated landing spots. That's how it seems to be, but if that's wrong, then great, you know, let me know. You won't be catching me out, because that's how I want it to be, but it doesn't seem as though that's how it's going to be. That's also going to be really disappointing. I have to say, I'll be honest, I'm really disappointed in these two things. I just feel that as an exploratory, immersive space sim, you know, you need to have these things. You need to be able to manually fly down to a planet and fly around and land where you want. You know, you need to be able to travel around the planet and not have loading screens. You know, this technology has gone beyond this, and I don't know why Starfield hasn't done that. But as I said before, I suspect it's something to do with the Xbox. Everything else, I guess, is probably as expected, really. You know, there are some systems that also feel quite basic. You know, talked about a smuggling system, a prison system, housing system. All of these seem quite similar to maybe what they've done in Elder Scrolls and other games. They don't seem to be pushed any particularly far. Combat seems kind of, from what I've seen so far, it seems serviceable, but I don't think the combat's going to blow our mind. I guess what I'm hoping for here, and again, I'm not too hopeful about this, just because of this forcing in this modern politicking in everything nowadays, whether it's games, TV series, or whatever it may be. I'm also a bit concerned about the writing and the characters and the dialogue, but I'll leave that till the end. But that's my overall feeling. You know, I've had to lower my expectations, and maybe I've had to lower them because it is it's partly my fault. I was, when I saw the game it was first announced, I got overhyped. So maybe I was expecting too much, but I do feel at the very least that the loading screens on planets and not being able to manually fly down, technology's moved beyond that, and I don't quite know. I don't understand the choice. You know, maybe they could have had two versions where the PC version didn't do that. I don't know. Maybe they could have at least just removed the loading. I'm not sure. You know, you've got to have an engine nowadays where surely it's loading as you're going. There shouldn't be a loading screen, but there you go. It is what it is. I'm still super hyped for it, and I still can't wait to get my hands on it. I mean, I was one of those mugs that bought the special edition thing of the Fallout 76 with the helmet. I did the same with Starfield to get the little watch stuff. I hope the watch is nice. I might wear it when I go out, maybe. Just yeah, but I'm one of those people. I've got early access, which I think begins on the 1st. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. Gamer just packing my special edition box thing up, and hopefully I'll receive it over the next couple of days. I can get pre-installed, and I can go. So along with the immersion stuff, which is what I'm really hoping this game knocks out of the park, despite some of the what appear to be technical flaws or technical limitations. The other thing is the writing. I'm probably most concerned about the writing actually than anything else. Over the last few years, we've seen many beloved franchises ruined because essentially what we have is ideologues writing these games, and it's not so much, and TV shows and films, whatever it may be, they're readapting stuff that they think is not suitable for modern audiences, whatever that means, because anyone going to watch a film is a modern audience. And I probably, you know, probably hazard a guess that most people don't feel like these people do, because I'm sure we've all got big circles of people that we know, and most people don't even talk about this kind of stuff. They just want entertainment to be entertaining, without being preached to us, I think. This game doesn't look like it's going to avoid that. From what I've seen, some of the cutscenes and stuff, I think we've got modern tropes in writing. So all of the faction leaders and the key NPCs for the good side will be of a certain type. Generally, a bossy woman who's rude and obnoxious and just poorly written. Doesn't do anything for women, by the way that they're writing these characters. I imagine all of the bad guys are going to be of a certain type. Probably quite a lot of white blokes. The level of writing has got so poor now, and my expectations are so low, that I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some poorly written, like Orange Man bad type story, something about Brexit, something about the recent, the recent lurgy and vaccines, all that kind of stuff. You're going to get all that, some sort of poorly written immigration story. Even Baldur's Gate 3 is infested with this ideological crap. The more I've got into the game, that I've just been playing it less because I'm just sick of listening to it. The other thing as well is that it's always so poorly written and poorly done, as though people let their emotions take over. So in Baldur's Gate 3, all of the fantasy stuff that you would expect is really well written. But this stuff that has been purposely inserted, I don't care what anyone says, this is purposely done. This modern ideological rubbish that's inserted into the game is just terrible. And it's almost like it's written by someone else. And that's enough about Baldur's Gate 3. But this game to me looks like it's gonna be that. All the good guys will be of a certain type. All the bad guys, all the people in charge will be of a certain type on the good side. All the people on the other side will be bad. I'm sure there's going to be lots of bad rich men, capitalism, blah de blah, all that sort of stuff. But we just can't get away from it. It is what it is. And I'm not one of those people that thinks that there shouldn't be politics in games. That's a straw man argument by one side. Everything's got politics in. If you sit down and play a game of chess with someone, there's politics there. There's conflict. There's challenge. You're competing. Of course there is. You could sit down and make a strong argument that Mario's got politics in. Of course it is. I'm not one of those people that the one side tries to make out you just don't want politics in games. Of course you do, but you want it to fit. You want it to make sense of in the world, and you want it to be well written. And unfortunately, that's not what we're getting. And looking at some of this, and I'll be honest, looking at some of the people involved in the development of the game as well, listening to them talking, they don't sound like gamers. They sound like they're reading from a script on some of the dialogue that they're coming out with. They don't sound like proper gamers. There, I said it. And I don't care what anyone thinks about that. Just unsubscribe. So that's what we're going to get, I feel. But there you go. It's an issue because you want, this game needs good writing. This game needs, we're talking like New Vegas level writing. Above that, this needs to have good writing. The characters need to be likable and good, as most of your companions in Baldur's Gate 3 are not likable, and it's because the characters are created almost like self-insert, just modern, rude, arrogant, obnoxious people. The Baldur's Gate 3 companions, with the exception of one or two, and that's what I'm hoping that we don't see here. The dialogue needs to be good. It needs to fit in with the world. And all the politics in the game need to fit in with the world as well. I don't want any horribly shoehorned in allegories or whatever. But there you go. I don't know. I'm hoping so, because this game is probably going to live or die on the story and the questing. And maybe that's where I can forgive it for the other technological limitations that it seems to have. Is that this game is different from Star Citizen and No Man's Sky, although those games are hoping to have quests and story. Well, Star Citizen is hoping to have, it does have some questing, but it's hoping to have an overarching story as well. In this game, that's one of the key components, and that needs to be right. If the writing is going to be ruined by modern ideologies that the writers feel that they've got to put in to get a slap on the back on Twitter or whatever it may be, it's going to be an issue. I'm hoping not. Please, immersion and good writing. That's all I want. But anyway, thanks for watching. To sum up, yeah, I mean, over the last couple of months, I've lowered my expectations on some of the mechanicals and some of the mechanics and some of the systems in game. I think they're not going to be what I was hoping they were going to be, even though I kind of think that they probably should now with technology where it is. But what I am hoping for is that my immersion's not broken by some of those mechanics and also by terrible writing. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.